My name is Emily Carter, and I'm 17 years old. I go to one of the best public high schools in the state. Everyone wants in, but not everyone belongs here. Especially not her, the girl who bullied me, lied to get ahead, and broke every rule in the book. I used to stay silent. But not anymore. This is how I got my revenge. Have you ever felt powerless? Like the world was against you, and no one would listen. This is my story. A story about bullying, lies, and finally, standing up for myself. It all started in high school, the best school in the state. But for me, it became a place of silent battles and hidden truths. My high school wasn't just any school. It was the pride of our district, beautiful buildings, amazing teachers, and more resources than any other school nearby. But the school had one strict rule: only students living in the district could attend. If your home wasn't inside the district boundaries, you simply couldn't enroll. It made sense. The school was funded by local taxes, so only kids from that area could benefit. The district's boundaries were well known, but many families tried to find ways around them. Some paid tuition, others found relatives' addresses to sneak in. There was one girl, let's call her Lena, who made my life a nightmare. Lena wasn't just mean, she was manipulative. She could make teachers believe anything she wanted. She bullied me in front of the whole class, then pretended to be the victim when teachers asked. She'd spread rumors about me, twist the truth, and whenever I tried to stand up, I was the one who got in trouble. Her sister, just as cruel, was always there, backing her up. I knew something was off. One day, I went to Lena's house for a group project meeting. It was a small, run-down place far from our district. My dad drove me there, and as we left, he said quietly, "How are they going to your school? They don't live in the district." That stuck with me. I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I started searching online. I used People Finder, sites, and public records. What I found was suspicious. Lena's family's main address was outside the district, the cheap, small house I'd been to. But there was also a second address connected to her family, a relative's house inside the district. It was listed as belonging to her grandmother. I remembered Lena telling me once that they were staying with family because of some repairs. But they never actually moved. They just used that address to get into the school. It was a lie. And it felt like a slap in the face. I was scared. I didn't want more trouble. But after everything Lena did to me, I was done being quiet. I wrote an email to the school's director of student services. I explained that some students might be attending without living in the district. I didn't name Lena or her sister yet. I wanted to see if the school would investigate. Days passed. No reply. I wondered if the school even cared. But I also felt hope. Maybe this time, the truth would win. After a week, I sent another email. This time, I was more detailed. I said I had evidence the family used their grandmother's address. I offered to share names if they needed. I thought back to all the times Lena hurt me. The lies, the fake tears, the teachers believing her over me. It wasn't fair. I was ready for whatever came next. If Lena got caught, it was on her. I was just telling the truth. A week had passed since I sent that email. Nothing seemed to happen. Lena was still at school, still smirking, still whispering behind my back. I started to think maybe they weren't going to act on it. But then, something changed. The assistant principal came into our classroom mid-period. Her eyes scanned the room like a hawk. Everyone went silent. Her voice was calm but firm. Assistant Principal. Lena, can you come with me please? Bring your things. There it was. I watched her gather her bag with a fake confused expression. She glanced around nervously. Her confidence shaken. Her smirk gone. That was the moment I knew they were looking into it. The next few days felt tense. Lena didn't return for 2 more class periods. Then she showed up again, but she wasn't the same. She looked pale, tired, like someone who hadn't slept in days. Whispers followed her down the hallway. People had noticed. One of our mutual classmates leaned toward me at lunch and said, "Hey, did you hear? The school's checking addresses now. Like everyone's. Isn't that weird?" I shrugged, pretending not to care. But inside, my heart was racing. I hadn't expected this to spread. Then came another twist. Lena's younger sister, who was just as much of a problem, was also pulled from class. Same routine, assistant principal walks in, quiet voice, quick exit. Except this time, I saw Lena watching from across the hallway as her sister left. She looked terrified. The next day, I got an email. Please report to the Office of Student Services. My palms started sweating. Had they figured out it was me? Were they mad I sent the email? I walked slowly to the office, every footstep heavy. I felt like I was walking into a courtroom. When I entered, the Director of Student Services smiled gently. "Director, we wanted to thank you. We've started a formal investigation. But we'd appreciate names to help narrow our search." "You mentioned having information?" I nodded. And I gave them the names, Lena, her sister, the grandmother's address they were using. I even offered screenshots of the online records. The director nodded, took notes, and said quietly, "Director, we take this seriously. Thank you for coming forward." Lena must have guessed I was involved. I started hearing whispers again. But this time, about me. "She's just jealous. She's trying to get them kicked out. She's obsessed." They couldn't fight the facts, so they fought with rumors. I stayed quiet. I had made a promise to myself. Let the truth fight back this time. 1 week later, both Lena and her sister were suddenly gone. Not expelled. Not suspended. Just absent. 4 days. No one knew where they went. Teachers wouldn't say anything. Their lockers were untouched. Their desks stayed empty. And then, I saw it. An official letter was left out in the guidance office tray, accidentally visible. It had the district address at the top. I saw 2 words underlined in red. Non-residency withdrawal. They were caught. I thought I'd feel triumphant. I thought I'd celebrate. But instead, I felt hollow. Not guilty. Not sad. Just numb. It wasn't just revenge. It was a reckoning. I had spent so long being crushed under the weight of their cruelty. Now that it was gone, I didn't know how to feel. Free? Maybe. But also, tired. A week later, a classmate, someone who had always stayed neutral, came up to me. "Classmate. Hey. I heard what happened. About them getting kicked out. I also heard why. You did the right thing. They were awful to everyone. People were just too scared to say anything. I looked up at him, surprised. Me? You're not mad? He shook his head. Classmate. No. We're relieved. That moment changed something in me. Maybe people had been watching all along. Maybe they were just waiting for someone to stand up. Soon after, the school announced a new policy. All residency claims must be verified with 2 proofs annually. They weren't taking chances anymore. They never named Lena or her sister, but everyone knew who had triggered it. And oddly enough, no one seemed to blame me anymore. I went home that evening and sat down with my journal. I wrote just one sentence. Justice doesn't always scream, sometimes, it whispers just loud enough. And for the first time in a long time, I felt peace. Lena and her sister were gone. Word had spread quietly. No one said it out loud, but everyone knew they had been kicked out for cheating the system. But here's what no one expected. Their mom showed up at school. Stormed into the front office, yelling. Security was called. She claimed discrimination, claimed unfairness, even accused the school of targeting successful girls. But the truth was plain. She had used a fake address. Lied. For years. That day, a letter went out to all parents. Residency fraud will result in permanent withdrawal. No exceptions. And just like that, the entire community turned against them. The story leaked online. It started with a local mom's Facebook group. Then it spread to school forums. People began asking questions like, how many kids are faking addresses while our children don't get in? Why didn't the school catch this earlier? Lena's mom's name started popping up. So did her sister's. Screenshots of their rented address showed up on Reddit. People compared timelines. Public records. Comments turned brutal. They took a spot from a real student. Cheaters raising cheaters. Entitled much? For the first time, the world saw Lena the way I had always seen her. A manipulative bully hiding behind fake smiles. 1 month later, I saw her. I was walking into a nearby cafe, and she was coming out. She froze when she saw me. Her eyes darted away, her expression tight. No smirk. No swagger. Just shame. She tried to walk past, but I said one thing. Me. Was it worth it? She didn't answer. Didn't have to. The silence said it all. 2 weeks later, the school counselor called me in. Counselor. We received a notice from the district. Due to your civic reporting and academic performance, you've been recommended for a scholarship under the Academic Integrity Initiative. Wait, what? She smiled. Counselor. You stood up for what's right. And people noticed. And just like that, I had funding toward my college dreams. I walked out of that office with tears in my eyes, not because of the money, but because for the first time in my life, someone rewarded me for being me. Months passed. One day, during a senior assembly, they asked for volunteers to speak on school values. I raised my hand. My voice trembled as I stood in front of hundreds of classmates, but I said this. Sometimes standing up for the truth means standing alone. But silence only protects the wrong people. I don't regret speaking out. And I never will. The entire hall clapped. Some even stood. I looked around and saw a girl in the back wiping her eyes. That was the moment I knew this wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was about courage. Narrator, calm, reflective voice. Revenge isn't always loud. Sometimes, it's a quiet whisper in the ear of justice. Sometimes, it's a girl staring at her ceiling at night, thinking, what if no one believes me? But sometimes, that girl speaks. Writes. Sends that one email. And everything changes. Lena thought she could crush me. She never expected I'd rise from her cruelty and burn her lies to the ground. I didn't just get revenge. I got myself back. Text on screen. This story is inspired by real events. Stand up. Speak up. Justice listens. Like what you heard? Subscribe for more powerful real-life stories where the truth gets the last word. Bellhop Bell, don't forget to like, share, and hit that bell icon. Your voice matters. Use it.